Ottawa Senators owner Eugene Melnyk says he needs an urgent liver transplant or he might die. And now his team is appealing to the public for help finding a donor. Melnyk has battled major health issues since January and was admitted to hospital 3 weeks ago. So far, his family has been unsuccessful in finding a donor match among close friends and relatives. The team insists Melnyk is on the liver transplant list and that he is not jumping the queue.
This has been well thought out with his doctors and his team of physicians, and this is the course of action they're recommending, that they make a public plea for a live liver donation. Everybody has the ability to make a public plea, it's just Eugene has a little different platform.
We're joined now by James Breckenridge, the president of the Canadian Transplant Society. So what do you make of Eugene Melnyk's very public plea here?
Well, you know, the man is obviously in need of a liver transplant, and we do not have enough liver transplant donors available in Canada at any given time. And so therefore he has to reach out in other means to help save his life. And that's what he's doing.
So here you have a guy who has a high profile. He's well off. He's powerful. And you know, I know some people were wondering at the beginning of the day, is he somehow jumping the queue and taking advantage of those things? But I guess given that he's looking for a live donor, he's not actually jumping the queue.
Not really, because there aren't too many live donors that donate anonymously. So he's not really jumping the queue from that point of view. And he is really reaching out to new donors that wouldn't not necessarily be a liver donor in the first place. But because of his notoriety or whatever reason for the interest in hockey level or whatever, they've decided to come forward.
Do these kinds of public appeals get results?
Well, yes, that's happened in the past, certainly with the twin girls in Toronto. There were a number of people that came forward for those girls just recently. And of course there was Helene Campbell, our sort of organ donor lady spokesperson, who was on the Helen DeGeneres show. And that didn't garner her a donor, but it did garner a lot of interest in people becoming a donor.
And with those twin girls, from what I understand, not only did the girl who needed the donation, because the dad obviously donated for the other girl, the one who eventually got it, so not only did a donor step forward, but there were other people who stepped forward who might end up doing live donations to other people.
For other people, that's exactly what happened. We had many people call in and ask to become a possible donor, and we directed them down to Toronto General Hospital. So it was quite a positive day, a number of days.
Now an interesting and slightly weird angle to all this, and I do want to ask you about it. You or someone, I guess, got a call from somebody from the United States offering a donation?
I just got a call from a man in Pittsburgh who said he'd like to become an organ donor for Eugene, and what he said was he'd like $2 million and a pair of season tickets to the Pittsburgh Penguins. And I told him, of course, that wasn't going to happen. That's totally illegal in both the United States and Canada. So that was the weirdest call I've ever gotten, ever about organ donation.
One last thing, Mr. Breckenridge, it's not an easy thing to be a live donor here. It's going through major surgery. On the other hand, the rewards, whether Mr. Melnyk is the recipient or someone else, the rewards are huge. Briefly, what should people be thinking about if they're even slightly contemplating being a donor?
A live donor?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, first of all, we've never lost a live donor. That's the number one to think of. The number one important thing to think about. Number two, I would say we probably have the finest transplant doctors in the entire world are right here in Canada. And if they go out of their way to make sure that every precaution is taken to keep both the recipient and the donor safe.
All right, James Breckenridge, thank you very much for talking to us tonight.
You're welcome.